Hello everyone, my name is Cameron and welcome back to your regularly scheduled nonsense, where today we are once again going over my platinum journey. This time, platinum's number 201 to 225. This will scope most of the second half of my A to Z platinum challenge that I've been doing over this year, I should say. As well as just games I've gotten platinums for in the meantime, whether that be things I've been playing on the channel or things I've just been playing in my free time. Yes, all three of my first PS3 platinums will also be in this. What are you doing after? Come here. Psst, come here. Psst. No? Okay. As well as just a few games that I've been working on in the background, whether that be just things I was close to or things that are technically part of next year's challenge. We'll get to that in a minute. Psst, psst. Come here, sweetie. Hey, what you doing? You want to go outside? Here you go. Go. So without further ado, let's begin. So number 201. There we go. So number 201, we start with Jak and Daxter, the Precursor Legacy, the 26 trophy version that got released on PS5 earlier this year. Originally, I'd planned to do the other version, but this was just the version I had in my library, and so this is the version I did. God, I can never get this fucking stand to be even the way I want it to be half the time. Completed this one May 2nd, 2025. It took me 4 days and 6 hours. This was the J for the Platinum Challenge, which went right into the very next game, Killzone Liberation on PS5, which I also completed on the 2nd of May, which took me 4 hours and 48 minutes to complete. Basically, right after I finished Jak and Daxter, the Precursor Legacy, I jumped straight into Killzone Liberation, because it was like maybe either midday or like 2 in the morning or some shit like that, and Killzone Liberation's a very short game, so I knew if I played it just right and did everything properly, I could finish it in one quick stream, and that's exactly what we did. That was the K for the A to Z Platinum Challenge. Number 203, I did Sly Cooper and the Thievis Raccoonus, also on the PS5. Did this one May 6th, 2025. It took me 4 days and 4 hours. There was a challenge, basically, to do Sly Cooper games, and I think Jak and Daxter games, and a couple other old PlayStation franchises for a trophy boosting Discord I'm in. And I hadn't played Sly Cooper in probably 15 or so years at least, probably longer, and said, you know what, it's on PS5 now, I'm going to play it and see how it is, and because I hadn't played it in a long time. If I had ever even played it in the first place. I think I had back in the day. I'm not 100% sure. I don't remember completely. But this one was a lot of fun, and I had a blast playing through it. Then that goes to 204, Ratchet and Clank Size Matters, again on PS5. Did that one May 9th of this year. It took me 1 day and 2 hours, which, yeah, pretty easy to do. A lot of fun. Some of the Ratchet and Clank games are really I don't know. Some of the Ratchet and Clank games are kind of just meh, but at least from somebody who loves the Ratchet and Clank games, sometimes they just fall a little short for me. But I had a blast doing Ratchet and Clank Size Matters. I think it's a fantastic game. I think most Ratchet and Clank games are pretty fun a lot of the time, but there are like one or two that I'm just kind of iffy on. But Size Matters is definitely one of the ones I really do enjoy, and I had a blast playing through it. Then for 205, I did Little Kitty Big City on PS5, which I did May 11th, 2025. It took me 4 hours and 9 minutes. So the story behind this one is I really wanted to play this game like a year or so ago when it released on Xbox. Didn't have a way to play it. Alex's wife had actually said, I bet Cameron would really love this game. And I was like, yeah, I really would, because I think I had seen Jesse play it or something, or I had seen it on his thing, and he's like, this looks like something you'd like. I was like, yeah, it definitely does. And I looked it up on PlayStation, it wasn't there. And then I saw that it had released on PlayStation. I was like, oh, well, now that it's on PlayStation, I'm going to play it. Like, obviously, I'm going to fucking play it. And I was in the middle of doing LA Noire for the challenge at this point and just needed, like, a quick mental break because L.A. Noire was kicking my ass, and Little Kitty Big City was the perfect break for that. I had a blast playing through it. Highly recommend that one. Next, I did Grand Theft Auto 3, the Definitive Edition, the PS5 version. I did this one June 18th, 2025. It took me 6 days and 14 hours. So you're going to notice that gap is huge. That goes from the 11th of May to a month and like 5 weeks later, basically, to June 18th. And the reason for that is because I had been playing L.A. Noire streaming L.A. Noire pretty much every day for that entire month, which leads to, and it took me 6 days, 14 hours to do GTA 3, which leads to number 207, L.A. Noire on the PS4. I did that June 24th, 2025. It took me 1 month and 2 weeks. So basically, from the time of around Ratchet & Clank Size Matters and Little Kitty Big City, around that time, I was already playing, more or less already playing L.A. Noire, trying to work through it. And it was basically like around the time of GTA 3 being finished, I was literally playing a lot of L.A. Noire at that point, just trying to get through it. And I had a blast with it. I thought it was great. I wish I wouldn't have played it for this challenge, personally speaking. I wish I would have chose something else, chose a Lego game or something. Something where the story and going into it blind is not super important, because L.A. Noire was a game that I think really would have been enjoyed going into it blind rather than having a guide up and following every single thing in the guide so I could get 100% on a single playthrough rather than playing through the game multiple times. And I still miss things on that initial playthrough and had to go back to a couple of chapters to get some of the other stuff done. Next, for number 208, I did Infamous. Did this one June 25th, 2025. It took me 3 months and 1 week. Funnily enough, I was actually working on this for a different trophy challenge that that Discord was doing, and because they were like, oh yeah, Infamous games, you'll get you can get it and stuff like that. And I had done Infamous Second Son and Infamous First Light already, and decided to go in and do Infamous 1 because I just got my PS3 around the same time, and I was almost through it. I was almost done with it, and then like right as I was like getting to the home stretch, I got burnt out and said, yeah, I'm not gonna be able to finish this, just go ahead and end the challenge, because they were like kind of extending it so I could try to get it done because I was really close to being done. All I had to do was the Evil playthrough and I was basically done with the game. But I couldn't find the time to do it, and by the time I was close to being done with it, which, months had gone past, I took a break on it and came back to it and was maybe halfway through the game already at that point when I took the game. But I was like, I'm not going to be able to finish this because I didn't have time. Next, number 209, Made of Scare on PS5. This one was July 1st, 2025. It took me 2 days and 22 hours. This is our first non-100% platinum on the list. For those of you who may be tuning in for the first time, which, dude, I'm at 225. You should have been watching from the get-go. This is, like, there's a lot to catch up on. So, what do I mean by non-100% platinum? So, PlayStation separates its DLCs into separate lists that still technically fall under the same list, but you can get a platinum without doing the DLCs, without owning the DLCs. So, unlike on Xbox where everything gets melded together and you only have the base 100%, and when you get DLC, it adds to that, and if you don't own the DLC, you can never really 100% the game. On PlayStation, you still can't 100% the game, but you can still get the platinum. And when you get a platinum but don't have the DLC done, you don't get 100%. Make sense? Good. In this situation, I didn't do the DLC for Made of Scare because I tried it, didn't like it, didn't want to keep going through it. Maybe at some point I'll do a trophy cleanup and actually go through my whole list and try to get any game that is not 100%ed up to 100%. But as of right now, we're waiting. This was the M for my A to Z Platinum Challenge. So you're seeing kind of also the breakdown of how long it was taking me to do some of these games and how long it was really taking me to get this challenge done throughout the year. Now, obviously, we're on the first of the last 3 games. We have Yooka-Laylee, we have Zombie Army Trilogy, and then we have 101 Ways to Die, and then we are completely done with the challenge. Yooka-Laylee's fun so far. It's going to take me a bit to get done, unfortunately. Why the fuck did I put so many fucking platforming games in this? But next, for number 210, we have Need for Speed Hot Pursuit Remastered, which I got done July 11th of 2025. It took me 1 week and 2 days to get that one done. This was the end for my A to Z Platinum Challenge, and I had an absolute blast with this one. I'm very happy it didn't take me longer than it could have, because it's a fucking Need for Speed game. It could have taken a long ass time. 9 days is kind of like the epitome of what I wanted it to take. I feel like it was kind of where I was like, okay, this isn't too long, but any longer than this, I'm gonna really start doubting my skills as a Need for Speed player. Had a blast with it though. Really glad I played through it. And next, we're moving on to number 211, Oddworld Abe's Odyssey. I got this one done August 6th, 2025. It took me 3 days and 41 minutes. Now, I know what you're thinking. Why did it take me over a month to get the next platinum that only took me 3 days to get done when the last platinum was at the start of July for the A to Z Platinum Challenge? Well, for those of you who do watch the channel regularly and have been here for a while, you know that originally my O for the A to Z Platinum Challenge was a game called Orcs Must Die 3. After playing like 5 or 6 days of that game, at least, I can't remember exactly how long it was. It was a while. I played a bit of that game. After playing that game for quite some time, I realized I wasn't having fun, and I was not going to get that platinum by myself, and I was not roping somebody else into getting that game done with me. So I said, nah, I'm just going to choose a different... I'm just going to swap this game off. I gave myself the rule of swapping a couple games if something happened, and for me, the biggest reason I swapped this one was I did not enjoy the game, did not think I'd get the platinum by myself, and there was no guide. There was also no guide for Orcs Must Die 3, and trying to piece together guides that didn't have a lot of information and genuinely just didn't give you a whole lot of tips for how to do the game, because you have to beat that on like every difficulty. And I just said, yeah, no, I'm not fucking doing this. This isn't fun for me. I'm not enjoying it. Maybe I'll try to go back for it at some point, but for the vast majority of my time with it, I was just not having fun. And it looks cool, but it just wasn't. So I said screw it, switched out for Oddworld Abe's Odyssey. Because I'd been wanting to play one of those games for a long time, and it may be kind of a bitch move that I chose the old version of it instead of one of the remakes / remasters. But New and Tasty and Soulstorm are a lot harder than the original games are to Platinum, and I was trying to give myself the enjoyment factor of a game I've never played before without having to stress myself more. Will I ever do Soulstorm or New and Tasty? Maybe. I kind of want to do. I think it's called Abe's Exodus is the second game in the franchise. I kind of want to do that before I do the remakes though, because if I remember correctly from looking it up, New and Tasty is the remake / remaster of Odyssey, and Soulstorm is the remake / remaster of Exodus, I believe. Don't quote me on that, I'm probably wrong, but I believe that's how it worked. I think those are the only two games in the franchise. I could be wrong again. There might be a third, it might be a trilogy, but if there is a third game, I don't think it's been remastered or remade, and I also don't know if it's available on PS Plus. But I chose to do Abe's Odyssey just because, again, it was the easier version to do. Next, we have my first ever PS3 Platinum, Batman Arkham Origins, which I got August 11th, 2025. It took me 2 years and 11 months. Now, I know what a lot of you are thinking. How did you do this Platinum? It is impossible. So, back when PS Plus had its relaunch, I noticed that Arkham Origins was on the service, and I was like, I haven't played this game in 12 years. That'd be right? Like 12, 13 years. I don't know, somewhere around there. Around 12-ish. No, wait, no. So it took me about 3 years to get this done. So 2022? So 10 years, give or take. I was like, I haven't played this game about 10 years. I want to play it again. Completely forgot about the online when I went back and started playing it. And then was looking at the trophy list stuff and was like, wait a minute, there is online for this. I'm like, fuck, it's not doable anymore, is it? And went through and found out that there was a workaround that PSN Profiles does not ban your profile for. So for those of you who don't know, PSN Profiles, if you get online trophies that are not obtainable, you either get banned from the leaderboards, or if you hide the game, you're allowed on the leaderboards. So, here's the worst part. The PSN profile stuff, when it comes to the tracking, breaks after so many trophies anyway, so you get hidden games on your profile as it is once you break the 255 trophy threshold on any game, which is why games like Minecraft and Dead by Daylight have such a big issue on PS5, because now they their trophy list can expand past that, breaking your list on leaderboards and stuff like that. So those trophies just won't show up for you and stuff like that. Which is not a big deal if you don't really give a fuck, to be fair. But if it's an online trophy specific thing, if you try to do those trophies in a not legit way, so doing something outside of what they deem is necessary and is allowed for getting those trophies. So like Black Ops 2 has a trophy for the league play. You can't get that anymore because league play doesn't exist anymore. But you can go through like quote unquote, I think you can go through like replays or something like that if you download somebody's replays or some bullshit. There's some way to get the trophy that's not kosher for them, basically. So if you do that, you get removed from the leaderboards and that's it. Or you hide it from your trophy and you're still not on the leaderboards. Which, if the leaderboards don't really matter to you, that's fine. I personally don't really care all that much, but I do like seeing my leaderboard score and seeing where I stack up against other trophy hunters because I think that's part of the fun for me. So I try my best to avoid having something that's going to put my trophy list to scrutiny and make them hide my list or take me off the leaderboards or something like that. So I went through the Origins, the Arkham Origins online as quickly as I could. It took about a month, I think, of constantly running sessions with people and trying to get shit done. Because one of the sessions, I think for a couple of the trophies, you need like a full lobby of people, or at least one of them you need a full lobby of people, where you have a Batman and Robin duo and then 2 full teams of 3 for the Penguin and the Joker. No, wait, no. Is it Penguin? No, Bane. Is it Bane and Joker? I think it's Bane and Joker, not Penguin and Joker. Bane and Joker criminal gangs. You need a full gang of that. There's trophies for coming in as Joker. There's trophies for coming in as Bane. There's trophies for doing the takedowns. There's so many different trophies for the game in general, for the online. So it's very much a coordinated effort by a huge group of people. And I got all those done. Talked a friend into doing it and said, start with the online. He's like, I'll get to it when I get to it. And then like a year later, the online was shut down again for good this time. Like it was not, like the workaround no longer works, basically. Which was an allowed workaround. Same thing with like the Adventurer trophy for Far Cry 2. Even though that online's back and working now, there is a workaround for that trophy because it doesn't work properly still, that they do allow, which is nice. And then basically it took me just a lot of time and I got through everything up to the point of doing the the Silent Night. Is that what it's called? I think so. I think it's called Silent Night. The hardest difficulty where if you die, you restart back to the start of the story. And I was just having so many issues doing it through PS Plus. So eventually I bought it. That's when I bought my PS3, got a copy of Arkham Origins for it, and then ended up buying the DLC because why not? And then I went through the entirety of the game and DLC and got the Platinum eventually, and I have the 100%, and it's probably one of my proudest accomplishments because I love the Arkham franchise. It holds a very near and dear place to my heart. I have a disc plate of Arkham City, like the Batman Arkham City case/logo that my buddy Noah got me for my birthday this year, and that's really cool. So it is a franchise that is near and dear to my heart, and pretty much every game up to night was bought for me by my older brother, and so it has always been a special series for me because he knows how much I love Batman. So looking forward to doing Arkham City and Asylum on PS3 at some point when I clear through my backlog, because I do not need to be playing more games right now or buying more games. Next, we have Platinum 213, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. I got this one August 20th, 2025. It took me 4 months and 2 days. This is another non 100% Platinum. Not for lack of not owning the DLC. I do own the DLC. Just haven't wanted to play the game. I finished it back in August. The DLC came out like 2 weeks later in September. I was just kind of like, I want to focus on other games. I have Mafia: The Old Country to focus on. So I was like, I'll wait. I'll come back to this when I feel like coming back to it, which will probably be sometime next month, is what I'm thinking, at least. Fingers crossed. Just to try to get through the DLC really quick. But I'm hoping to see an announcement for the next DLC that they have planned, so I can wait to do them both back to back. I think there's 2 or 3 DLC cycles they're planning. I don't know for sure. Or not cycles, but 2 or 3 DLC drops that they're planning. I want to look up for sure to know what I'm to know, and then I will hopefully go into them when I know for sure what they're planning. So I haven't wanted to do it yet, just to wait off. Next, for 214, we have Power Wash Simulator, which I got done August 26, 2025. It took me 2 weeks and 5 days, and this was the PS5 version of the game. Got the 100%. I should have chosen something else for P. I'm going to be honest. This game just exhausted the hell out of me. I loved the game, but fucking A, was this Platinum and 100% exhausting as hell. And I really should have just gone and done something else. I should have found a different game to put in this spot instead of Power Wash Simulator. But I couldn't think of anything else that I could have put here. And then once I got through it, I was so drained and just wanted to do something else for a bit. But instead, we went straight into 215, Quest Hunter, which I got done August 29th, 2025. It took me 2 days and 8 hours. And this is another non-100% Platinum. Actually, the last one on this list as of right now. Unless something else releases a DLC, this should be the last non-100% Platinum for the 201 to 225 video. Yeah, this one was pretty fun. I liked it. The DLC sucked, though. Like, I went into it, and it was really hard. And I might go back and do the DLC at some point, but right now I was just like, I don't care about doing the DLC. The challenge was not to 100% every game on the trophy list. The challenge was to platinum every game on the list, which up to this point I've done. So, again, a lot of fun with this one, though. I love, like, top-down 2D sprite RPG type games. And, excuse me, this one had a really fun story and a really fun gameplay loop that I was not expecting when I got it. I was like, oh yeah, this is like the only game I could find that has a platinum that starts with Q, so I'm going to try it. And I played it and I was like, okay, this actually wasn't terrible. Like, this was a lot of fun. Do I think it was one of my favorite platinums of the year? Probably not. I feel like the game was kind of short for how fun it was to play, and the story was kind of a little all over the place for how much I enjoyed it. But it was still fun, and it was a nice little experience to get done in like 3 days. Next, we have Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, which I got done September 5th, 2025. Took me 6 days and 8 hours. This is the R for the Platinum Challenge. Obviously, Q was Quest Hunter. Yeah, I had a blast with this one. It was great. I think, again, Ratchet & Clank games hold a very near and dear special place in my heart. They're very much what Jak and Daxter is to Mystic Ryan. Like, that's what they are to me. Like, Ratchet & Clank has a lot of my memories from when I was a kid. Same with Jak and Daxter, to be fair. But Ratchet & Clank was the one I remember playing, and, you know, we would shift out with my cousins and stuff like that, and we'd all play them together, and we'd all, like, watch and look at the story and things like that. Had it on, you know, played it on so many different TVs and so many different consoles throughout the years, and it was one of those things where Ratchet & Clank, for me, for a platformer game and for an adventure game like that, it was always the one that I kind of always go back to and always think of when I think of like my favorite gaming memories. So for me, there's 3 series that really kind of pinpoint my gaming memories, and those are Crash Bandicoot, actually 4 series: Crash Bandicoot, Tony Hawk, Ratchet & Clank, and Batman. Those are the 4. Well, Batman Arkham in specifics. But those are the 4 that always kind of, like, if I'm pinpointing, like, my favorite series in my memory, those are the 4 that pop up the most. It's why I bought the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4 Collector's Edition, even though the game kind of sucked. It dropped the ball a lot compared to the first one. But yeah, had a blast with Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, and I'm really looking forward to going back through the rest of the Ratchet & Clank series when I get more time next year. Next, for 217, I got Rust on PS4. Took me, I got it September 21st, 2025. It took me 4 years and 1 month. Yeah, I went for this one because the game was shutting down. That was literally it. I didn't enjoy this game. I hated it, actually. It's probably going to be in the 1, 2, or 3 slot for my least favorite platinums at the end of this year. I guarantee you right now. It's probably, I can tell you, the top 3 are probably going to be Rust, Baja Edge of Control, and Saints Row 2022. Those are probably going to be around the top 3. Again, obviously I have to go through the entire list and look over everything and kind of nuance everything and look back at what I remember from each game. But there's a good chance Rust is going to be at the top of that list because, 1, the community is toxic as fuck. I'm a Dead by Daylight player. I know what toxic communities look like because I'm in one. But this one, God, Rust's community makes Dead by Daylight look normal. Like, it's batshit insane how awful the people in this community are. Um, and also the platinum just fucking sucks. I'm gonna be honest. There are so many things that can bug out. There are so many issues with it. It's a pain in the ass to gather the resources for things, and for the trophies for just gathering resources is a pain in the ass. It sucked. I had no fun doing this one, and I'm pretty sure Alex heard me bitch about this on 5 or 6 different occasions just through text because of how much I hated going for this platinum. And I'm glad to have it done, and I'm never going to touch the PS5 version, at least as of right now. I have no plans to play that version because private servers don't exist, and I think that's kind of the worst part about it. You can't do something like what you can do with Ark with a non-dedicated server where you can just kind of be stuck next to your friends or anything like that. No, you can't do shit privately on that game. I think maybe you could buy servers, but that was the only option you had, and I was not paying money for this fucking game. Next, 218, we have Saints Row 2022 on the PS5. Got this one September 23rd, 2025. It took me 2 weeks and 3 days. Did I say 2025? I meant 2022 version of this game. I got it on PS5, obviously. Yeah, it sucked. It wasn't very fun. Like, the story was decent, but this was not a Saints Row game. This was a Saints Row game in name, but not a Saints Row game in heart, soul, jokes, characters, pretty much anything. Like, outside of the name, this is not really a Saints Row game, in my opinion. And Hunter watched most of the streams I did of this game, and he agrees with me. He's also like the resident Saints Row nerd in our friend group, and yeah, neither of us thought this was a good game. Neither of us thought the story was very good. Neither of us thought the writing was very good. Even the combat didn't feel the greatest. Although I will say, it's hard to fuck up Saints Row combat. Like, if they had fucked that up completely, that would have been a different story. Next, for number 219, we have The Escapists. I got this September 28th, 2025. It took me 5 days and 11 minutes. I had already platinumed the sequel, and I wanted to go back and play this one, and that was a mistake. If you're going to do these platinums, do The Escapist and then The Escapist 2. Doing them the way I did them, not a good idea. It was a terrible, terrible idea to do it backwards because The Escapist 1 is missing a lot of very good quality of life updates that The Escapist 2 ended up getting. Crafting menu-wise, map, first off, for like a big point of it, an easier to navigate menu, a save and quit option so you could save at any point and it wasn't just at the start of the days. Yeah, I didn't really enjoy The Escapist 1 as much as I was hoping to. Still enjoyed it, but the tasks that you had to do total to get the platinum also felt a lot more tedious than the second game did. So I think that was another update. The DLCs are fun though, I will admit. For the most part at least. Some of them were kind of meh, but I think I did most of those off camera anyway. But yeah, I had a fun time with it, and I'm glad I got it done so quick. Next, we have number 220, Unpacking. This was the PS5 version of this. I got this done October 8th, 2025. It took me 2 hours and 47 minutes. This is after about a week of trying to do Unravel 2's platinum and not enjoying it. I finished the entirety of Unravel 2's story, started going for the cleanup stuff that I knew I was going to have to do for the platinum, and just couldn't enjoy it. The speed runs specifically. No death runs I could have easily done. I could have probably even easily done all the bonus levels within 45 minutes by myself. But the speed runs were damn near impossible to get done on your own. I know they're possible. I've seen people do it solo, but I don't think I have the coordination or the timing necessary to do them by myself where I'm going to enjoy the experience of doing them, basically. And while I probably could have done those off camera, it would have taken me a lot more time to get them done than what I was willing to sink into doing the game. Will I probably do it at some point? Yes. Either that or I'll rope Jesse into helping me. Who knows? But as far as doing the trophy list on my own in a challenge format, I was not comfortable putting that much time into it. But I did make myself a rule since I was technically switching out a second game. And I'm going to, if I do this again, I'll tweak rules and stuff like that and get an actual full rule list of what I'm not going to do and what I'm allowed to do. If I was going to do this again, I would definitely have it be where every time I switch a game, there's a challenge added to it. And in this situation, the rule I added was, since I'm changing it out, I have to stream it right now. The minute after I finished that Unravel 2 stream that I decided to change it out, I went straight into Unpacking after buying it. I did it in a single stream because that was the rule I set myself. I had to do it in one stream right after I finished Unravel 2 stream and went and bought the game. And that's what I did. I went and I did unpacking in a single stream, and it took me just about 3 hours. And I had a lot of fun with it. It was a relaxing game. It's really cozy. I highly recommend it. And yeah, I was glad I changed. I was glad I made the change because I was not having fun during Unravel 2. And I think I said it in the update video about where my thoughts were coming into the last couple of games, where if I was going to do this again, I'd have 2 lists ready to go so I can swap a game out at a quicker notice rather than looking through stuff and trying to figure out a game. I'd rather have, okay, I can just switch this game out at a moment's notice to this game if I don't like it, and then here's the rule set that I have to follow for this game. But yeah, we'll figure it out what I end up deciding to do. But for now, I don't plan on doing this challenge again. Not anytime soon, at least. Next, at 221, we have V Rising. I got this October 21st, 2025, and it took me 1 week and 5 days. This was like the horror game that I did for October. It wasn't the plan. I'm glad I got to it in October because I didn't have a whole lot of horror on this list, surprisingly, for somebody who loves horror games and horror media in general. But I had a blast with this one. It was a lot of fun. Being able to do my own custom settings and have it on a private server where it was just me was really, really nice. It took a while. It did. It almost took 2 weeks to get this game done, and the bosses were kind of a pain in the ass. But it was very much a situation of if I could learn if I could recognize the patterns fast enough. A lot of it was pattern recognition. If I could recognize the patterns fast enough, I struggled less. And even when I got to Dracula and was fighting him, Hunter was giving me shit because I wasn't focusing on the pattern properly, and I was like, shut the fuck up, man. I realize that I'm not looking at the pattern properly. I'm trying to learn it here so I can do this. And eventually, I got it. I think it took me 2 or 3 attempts to beat Dracula, something like that, on the last stream, and finished the game off, and I was done. And I was very happy with it. I had a blast with that game. It was genuinely a lot of fun, and I'm very happy I did it. Whether I had done it for this challenge or done it in my free time, I was going to have a fun time with it. Next, for number 222, I got Red Dead Redemption 2. I got this one November 6th, 2025. It took me 6 years and 11 months. I was literally coming up to the 7-year anniversary of this game coming out because I got it on launch and started it on launch. And it was the first game I spun for my wheel spin for next year's challenge, which is just a backlog clearing suit. I won't really be doing videos or streams on that one, more or less. I might stream here and there for stuff I'm doing for that. But for the vast majority of it, it is just I'm going to be doing this in my free time because I don't know how much I'm going to be focusing on YouTube next year with D&D stuff, with just generally wanting to game in my free time by myself for a bit, not wanting to spend a lot of money on new games because I'm trying to save money so I can move and things like that. My focus has been very much focused on the adult side of my life rather than the gaming side of my life, which sucks, but sometimes you got to make that sacrifice. And Red Dead Redemption 2 was the first game I spun, which I thought was very fitting because the reason I started going for the platinum again a year or two ago was also because I spun it on a wheel, and I went back into it. I started working on this probably around the time I was doing Need for Speed, probably around that time, maybe even earlier. Actually, no, it was probably around Need for Speed or Oddworld or something like that. Somewhere around like July, August-ish, something like that. I probably is where I started kind of going back to it and spun the wheel and everything like that. And I got Red Dead Redemption 2, and I was working on stuff, and I got through all the online, and then I was getting through the stuff in the single player that I had to get through. And then as I was getting through all that, and as I had done skinning animals, the hunting request, the legendary fish, all the stuff I was getting done, as I was getting it done, I was like, holy fuck, I'm actually like really close to being done with this now. And then it was just gold medals and the last few collectibles. And so I went and I did the dream catchers, and because I was at like 9 of 20 or something like that on the dream catchers, I went and finished those all off, and I was like, all right, I have 2 trophies left. Get all the gold medals and complete the compendium. I'm like, I want the compendium to do my last thing, so I'm going to focus on the gold medals. And I went in, and it was literally 3 months of my life just trying to get gold medals, I feel like. It was a while. Like, it took a lot of time, and it got to the point where last month, or the start of this month, I texted Alex, I was like, dude, it's getting serious now. I broke out a spreadsheet. Like, I went and I looked up a spreadsheet for, like, the gold medal checklist and the 100% checklist and shit like that. And I started marking off my gold medals every time I get one because visualizing that progress was a lot different than counting through every chapter. And I was at like 40 a week before I got this platinum or something like that. I was not very close. Like I was under halfway there. And when I started boosting Singularity, I was just playing Red Dead Redemption 2 in my free time. I was probably at like 35 or 40 trophies or something like that. By the time I finished up Singularity, or was about to finish Singularity, I ended up getting 270 platinums. Like I was breezing through them, and like there was one point where I was like, I'm at X amount, like 59 out of 70 gold medals in the boosting group for trophies I was in, and they're like, is that a good thing? And I was like, considering I need 70, and when we started boosting this, I was like 40 or something. Yeah, that's a great fucking thing, because it meant I was flying through gold medals a lot more. And it's really funny too, because there's missions like on the PSN profiles guide. There's markers, like there's a difficulty rating for each mission, and there's missions where it's like a 1 out of 5 or a 2 out of 5, and I'm struggling to get those. And then there'll be a mission that's like a 4 or 5 out of 5, and I get it first fucking try. Like the first mission's rated like 3 out of 5 or something like that on PSN profiles, like as an arbitrary rating, and I didn't get that gold medal. I'm pretty sure I didn't end up getting that gold medal. But there's like a mission that's in like chapter 4 or something that's like a 5 or like a 4.5 out of 5 or something, and I got that one on like my first attempt. And I was like, how does this work? How am I struggling on the easy missions and not struggling on the hard missions? But eventually I got all 70 gold medals, and then went through and found, I think I was at like 4 or 5 I think it was like 4 dinosaur bones when I started the search. There is 30 of those motherfuckers, and then you have to go talk to the person to get your reward and finish that off. And it was like a solid hour and a half of me just searching for dinosaur bones, and it sucked. And I got it done, so there was that. Next, 223, I got Singularity done. This is my third and final PS3 Platinum as of right now. This is actually also where I realized I got a PS Vita Platinum, technically, because Burly Men at Sea, a game I platinumed, I think in the last trophy update is when I talked about that one, is also technically a PS Vita because it shares the same trophy list between PS4 and PS Vita. I did not know that, and that was really cool for me to get it done. At least I don't remember it. I probably did remember it at the time, or knew it at the time, but completely forgot when I went and saw it again. This one took me 7 months and 1 week. I started this back when I got my PS3. I wanted to play this game again, and I had started it, had gotten 1 or 2 online trophies, and had made it like a chapter and a half in on hard for the single player, for the campaign. And I remember kind of getting burnt out on it, not because of the single player, but because doing the online was going to be very difficult because I didn't have anyone to do it with. And then at some point, this trophy group I'm in on Discord had said, hey, we're looking to do Singularity, who all would want to do this? And I said, I will happily fucking join, because I would like to get this trophy list done, because all I have left is the online, really, because I'm breezing through the story mode. Basically, while we weren't playing the story or the online stuff, I was playing the single player in my free time, and was literally doing online stuff for that while I was playing Red Dead Redemption 2, and eventually got all my online trophies, went back through the story to get the 2 story trophies I missed that are technically missable, got those done, and was able to complete it in the same day, and then slept for a few hours. And then Platinum 224, Wanted Dead PS5 edition, I got also on November 6, 2025, and it took me 2 weeks and 2 days. This was the W for my Platinum challenge, for my AZ Platinum challenge. And this is also a game that has probably earned itself a top spot on my worst of list this year, because I did not enjoy it. Not as much as I hoped I would. Not as much as the fact that I have the fucking deluxe edition of that goddamn game would lead you to believe. So here's the thing. I watched the Backlogs video where he played that game in a challenge run setting. Bought that because it was like $30 or something like that. It was like $25. It was really fucking cheap on Amazon. Bought that deluxe edition, not thinking I'm ever gonna, like, oh yeah, I'll probably play it at some point, but probably won't platinum it. Then I chose it for this challenge and realized my mistake as I was going through it. Had so much disdain for it and hated so many things about it just for the hard playthrough and the Japanese hard playthrough to be super fucking easy, and for me to breeze through them both pretty fucking quick within literally the fact that I finished the Japanese hard playthrough about 7 hours before I finished this, or like 6 or 7 hours before I finished the Japanese hard playthrough. Like the hard playthrough was done and I went straight in the Japanese hard playthrough like on stream. And then a few hours later, after I'd finished that stream, I was doing the stream where I was finishing the game on the hardest difficulty, where it only took me a couple of attempts on the final boss fight, and I was able to complete it and move on from the game, and I never have to play Wanted Dead again in my life, and that will be too soon. I'm going to be honest. It was a clusterfuck of a game, and I'm glad to have it done. And on to the most recent, and as of right now, the last platinum I've earned, which is number 225, Xenon Racer. This is the X for my A to Z Platinum Challenge. I got this one yesterday, 2 days ago now, technically, November 10th, 2025, and it took me 3 days and 2 hours. When I started this one, I didn't think it was going to take, didn't think it was going to end up being that short of a platinum journey time for me, and B, really did not expect how much I was not going to like the game when I started it. The game is definitely fun, but it's also very unforgiving at times and very annoying at times, to the point where I was very much thinking of replacing it with something else because I just wasn't enjoying it, and it felt like nothing I was doing was leading me to be able to win races. Eventually, I kind of looked up some tips and strategies for what cars to use and how best to upgrade them and customize them, and after doing that, was actually able to end up breezing through most of the races, to the point where the final stream, where all I had to do was beat the final boss race of the game, which the trophy list and the guide had said was really tough and you're going to struggle a little bit, to the point where I went through it and it took me one attempt, and I spent 30 minutes talking about the new Frankenstein movie because I did not want to just upload a 10-minute stream of me finishing that fucking game. That's how fucking quickly I beat that boss. I beat it in one fucking attempt, to the point where I was like, I need something to do to have this go longer than 10 minutes while I'm talking. So I talked about Frankenstein because I'd finished Frankenstein. Like, I'd watched through Frankenstein while I was doing the time grind off camera for the 10-hour trophy on Xenon Racer. But I had fun with it. It may still end up making the worst of list, but if it does, it's going to be like the number 10 spot, where it's the least bad of, like, my favorite of the bad games, because I did really enjoy it, and I think it definitely could have been better, but I also think it could have been much, much worse. So there's that at least. But I hope you guys have enjoyed this one. I'll see you all in the next one, where we'll talk about 226 to 250. Stay golden. Peace.